You've heard of The Little Mermaid, but here's a story about a girl who's just straight up a fish. She actually turns into a lot of different animals, including a deer, and a prince falls in love with her when she is the deer. I have fallen in love with a beautiful deer is a real sentence he says to his mother in the story, so buckle up. It's called the girl fish, although sometimes it's called the girl, the fish, and the crown, and it's from Spain. There's a girl who's an only child and really pretty, and because of that, her parents spoil her and she becomes a super brat who never wants to work. But one day she legit feels bad for not helping her mom around the house, and she's like, can I do something for you? And the mom's like, go down by the river and like mend these fishing nets. And while she's there, this beautiful multicolored fish hops out of the water and she grabs it with the net and she's like, oh yay, I caught dinner. But then the fish speaks and says, you had better not kill me, for if you do, I will turn you into a fish yourself. The girl laughs contemptuously, takes it home, and she's like, Mom, I caught this fish for dinner, let's kill it. Even though it did talk and say it would curse me, but I don't trust that. The mom's like, put it back, I don't want you getting cursed. But the girl's like, I'm hungry, if I don't have dinner soon, I'm gonna be cross. So they kill it and they cook it. But the instant the girl puts a bite in her mouth, she feels a shiver, she turns into a fish and flops out the house into the river and then swims to the ocean. And she's like, oh shoot. She starts crying and these other fish come up to her and they're like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, I am not really a fish, I'm a girl. And they're like, oh, actually, we've been through that experience too. Come with us, we're gonna help you. They take her to the palace of their queen, who's only half fish, more of what we think of a mermaid. Mermaid gives her this big backstory. She says, once I was a human girl too, I was a princess, I got betrothed, I married this king, we had a son, life was good. I was a queen with my crown and my mom told me as long as I had my crown, I would always reign. Well, one day a giant came along, snatched me, took my crown, threw me to the side, and replaced me with his own daughter to be the queen. This giant could do magic, so he enchanted the prince so he didn't know the difference. Well, our girl gets so sad, she decides to throw herself into the ocean. All of her ladies in waiting who loved her also jumped into the ocean as well, but then a random wizard who felt bad for them turned them into fish instead of letting them die. So that's why they look like this. And she got to stay like half human because she's like a queen. She's like, we have to stay fish until I get my crown again. And the girl fish says, I'll go try and get it for you. Tell me what I have to do. And it said it's kind of a selfish motive because she would have promised anything that would just get her out of being a fish in the water. The queen's like, I'm going to give you the power to change yourself into any animal you want by just striking yourself, like in the forehead, which I don't know why she hasn't given that power to anyone else, including herself so far, but that's beside the point. So she's supposed to change herself into different animals to go to this giant's castle and steal the crown back because he has it because the daughter he put on the throne has since died. And like, it's been so many years that the queen's son, the prince, is now grown up. First, the girl changes herself into a deer and starts bounding through the forest. Well, that grown-up son of the queen is out hunting and he sees it and gets obsessed with it. He chases her and they look into each other's eyes and then she gets away and he says to himself, that's no ordinary deer. I bet it's an enchanted maiden, and I will marry her and no other. The girl goes on and changes herself into a bunch of animals to get up to the giant's castle. An ant to climb the walls, then a monkey to climb the trees, and then she turns herself into a parrot. Really, she could have just turned herself into the parrot the first time and flown up there, but again. She goes up to the giant, she's like, I'm here to have the crown, your daughter's dead, you don't need it anymore. And he gets really mad, and he's like, I'll give it to you if you go get me these precious blue stones from the Arch of St. Martin in the great city. So she flies there, she brings it back, and he pretends that he doesn't like it because they're not as blue as he wanted, but she knows he's, full of crap. So he says, actually, if you're gonna take this crown, I want a crown as beautiful as stars. So our girl turns herself into a toad, goes to this pool and gets like a sack of water that the stars are sparkling in, takes it to him, and she's like, here you go, here's the stars. And he's like, oh, you foiled me. So our girl turns back into a fish, goes back to the queen mermaid. She gives her the crown, and as soon as she puts it on, she forms legs, and all of her maidens turn from fish to girls, and I'm assuming they swim to the surface and breathe, though it doesn't say that. And our girl is human again too, and apparently more beautiful than any of them. So they all go back to live at the palace, and the queen is like, oh, look at my grown-up son. And he's like, mother, it's so good to see you, but I'm like super sad because I have fallen in love with a beautiful deer. But the queen says, oh, is that all? Well, I know who that deer is. She's the girl who helped free me. So she brings the girl out, and when the prince sees her, she's even hotter than she was as a deer, and he can't even speak, and he just bends his head before her. She draws nearer and whispers to him what she said with her eyes when he was hunting her, by your favor, let me go. Do not kill me. And his heart fills with happiness, and they get married and live happily ever after. It doesn't say if she ever visits her parents again and says, actually, I'm okay, I'm not a fish. I hope so. I feel like they deserve that. As always, check out my book and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.